One renewals, the requirement for the continuing education. So those are existing plumbers and electricians in the city still can get their license renewed for 2021. We would just forego the continuing education hours requirement. They still will have to have all of their bonding, all of their insurance, all of those elements in place.
With this ordinance, will that, just expire in 2021, and will we have to write a new one, or just fall back on the old one?
I thought you had made it so that it expires, but we can add that to that. So
Yeah,
that it
we'll
can go
make
back to
sure
2
that
years.
it expires in the end of 2021, so
Yes.
next 2022 renewals.
It states continuing education requirements will be shall be suspended for the year of 2021 renewal. Is
Then you
that,
should be good.
that does that? Okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure that we get it back in there when 2021's over.
Again, we just were notified Saturday that there will be a class for electricians, a single class.
So they could still,
They could. I've spoken with one of our local electricians, and he says, I'm going, I'll have my continuing education. But we got others, and particularly our group of plumbers, that have not been able to find any place that they can go
Okay.
with continuing education.
any further questions?
Well, in this section 1 where it says whereas, it says year 21 and 22. Are we only doing this for 21?
I just saw that error in this copy that I submitted to your packets. It is just for 2021.
Okay, so we can just scratch
Originally,
that out.
when we were considering this ordinance, and Susan and I were going back and forth, we have some that take out 2-year license and some that do it for 1 year. The final discussion came down to if they renew in December for 2021 and they happen to get 2022, that license still remains good. It'll just be for those that do a 1-year renewal would be impacted.
I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1467.
So moved.
Second? Second. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 4-0. Marion County Spark Direct Support update. Roger?
I apologize. One thing out of order here. As part of the strengthening people and revitalizing Kansas, there were grants awarded to municipalities, nonprofits and businesses from a local group in our county. We received our reimbursements for those emergency supplies, cleaning, masks, so forth, that we had to purchase initially. We've already received that $600, $663. We have been allocated $25,955 from this group. It's a grant on a use it or lose it basis. But the grant mandates that the expenditures fall within distance learning, economic support, expenses with the issuance of tax anticipation notes, which would be no fund warrants, improvements to telework capacities, medical expenses, so forth. The list was in the memo that I provided. In working with the staff and trying to determine how could we best utilize this money, the decision was made that we'll ask your permission to invest the dollars available to us first on creating remote access computers and secure connections for our police department all 5 officers. Currently, there's no in-person testimony at district court, and they're wanting all of their files uploaded electronically rather than passing the paper. So we would request your permission, $4,725 to be allocated to the police department, acquisition of these secure computers with remote access. It is our belief they'll also install those into the patrol cars, giving us greater capabilities in the field. So it will be a dual benefit. As we look at our operations, if we had to go to a quarantine situation that unfortunately we're seeing at the White House right now, we do not have the ability currently to have virtual private networks that are secure for our treasurer, our city clerk, and then administration. So we would request that the money, we would allocate the $4,270 for the acquisition of those computers, the necessary firewalls, and the printers for what we're required to print and retain for audit purposes. Council had previously approved the remote work order management and cloud storage for all of our work orders. That's $5,500. We would like to include that as reimbursement on this grant. What that does for us is not only improving customer service, but we take the physical contact out of employees having to come to the office, get work orders. They'll be able to continue to work remotely in the field. Our costs for remote meeting platforms, which are the Zoom, Microsoft, Teams, in our community boards, the discussion came up with Planning and Zoning Commission. They want the ability to meet virtually if something happens. So $985 to do that. We would like to submit the audio enhancements we made in this room. It was $1,900 for this sound system that allowed us to do the social distancing and make it safer for participants here. And then if council would desire, currently we record these meetings and then upload them on a YouTube channel. We could go to live feed broadcast. The equipment necessary to do that would be $4,800. And then the staff's priorities are we need to get additional supplies of personal protection equipment for our Public Works and Utility Department, $1,775, and disposable gloves, masks, face shields, that type of stuff. And then the PPE and cleaning supplies for public access buildings, venues, that'll be the supplies, particularly for this building. While most of our events have been canceled, when we get to the point that we can reopen, we're gonna have sanitation that's gonna have to be done at higher levels, and we would like to be able to make disposable masks available to people coming in here. The proposed allocations would spend our entire allotment to $25,955, and we're looking to council to see, is this acceptable for us to execute these expenditures in this manner?
If we do this, do we need anybody else's approval, like the state, or do we just spend it any way we want?
I have to stay within the county's guidelines. I've already spoken to their auditor regarding these proposals. I have only spoken with one member of the committee, but I reassured them I've studied as much of the Spark as they have on their committee, on what we have to qualify for. I do not anticipate, all of this falls well within the federal guidelines to the state guidelines to the county, and what we have to adhere to for the county. Tiffany's laughing because she's heard some of my comments after conversations.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion on the floor is second. to approve this park direct support of the grant. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Acceptance of CRG grant contract with State of Kansas. Randy?
Thank you. You may remember, well, it's been nearly a month ago now, when I came before you and asked your approval to make a submittal to the Connectivity Emergency Response Grant portion of some Phase 1 Spark money out of Topeka. You approved me to make that application, and as promised, before we signed anything, we promised to come back before you with the results of that. I'm here tonight to ask your approval for the actual grant. We were awarded $160,000 for a broadband backbone in the industrial business parks. That requires 20% match, which equates to 32,000. Up to 50% can be in kind. So right now we have, our application included $16,000 of in-kind contributions and $16,000 out of my budget. Frankly, the budget we're gonna have to do a little dance here with Expedition Wind and making sure we get that building closed. But I don't have any doubts about that, given the most recent developments that we've read in the paper. So I'm here tonight asking your approval that I can go ahead and get signatures on that document from you, Mayor, and get that turned back to Topeka.
Any questions?
I do. I guess I was probably the only one that requested attachment B. In attachment B, you said there were 7 businesses in the industrial park south of the highway. Could you tell me what businesses those are?
Yeah, right off the top of my head, they're John Deere, they are Spur
John Deere
Ridge.
is a parking lot, right? No building on that piece of land, on that lot. It's strictly for storing instruments.
Okay,
Implements. I'm wanting to know the businesses that could hook up to this
all right,
fiber optic.
Dollar General, Spur Ridge, now Expedition Wind, 56 Express has already been to me as well.
The Airstream guy,
Airstream, that's.
Marion Manufacturer, Marion Tool and Die.
Marion Tool and Die is on the other side of the industrial park. This is
That is
everything.
correct, but it gives them access. This is basically like building the highway. And then any business has the ability to build an off-ramp to their business. By putting it in there, instead of them having to pay the total cost to go from their business to the nearest point of access, which in this case is the AT&T carrier line on the north side of US 56. So without this, each individual business that exists today, plus any future business, would have to pay to bore under that highway. By us installing this backbone or infrastructure, it allows future businesses or existing businesses to go in. Is this a 16 or 32 pair of fiber?
Actually, it's 36.
36, okay? So there's 36 strands of fiber in there. We can handle up to 36 businesses with that for their direct connections. So we're creating the ability for the 7 that exist, plus any future lots, both north and south, to be able to connect without paying a carrier or provider to do the work on a US highway, which gets extremely expensive to make those connections.
Oh, Randy, how much money do you need that we're gonna have to dig up?
16,000.
It'll come out of Randy's budget.
Oh,
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing at this point that forgoes his ability to negotiate with this provider that's going to construct this project, to get the local dollars from them as well.
Yeah.
The grant agreement just says it comes locally. It doesn't mean it all has to be city. It can be city and it can be, in this case, the provider who ultimately would be able to benefit from the connection. For us, it's trying to keep our industrial park and our business park competitive with, just the ones to the west of us are putting in 1 gigabit speed right now in their business park. If I were looking to open a business, and even if you told me today, well, the lot could be up to free, but if I have to pay to bring fiber optics under a US highway, I think I'd probably go west if I were a business.
We're bringing this cable or this fiber optic down Bott Street, right, over to Roosevelt.
Correct.
Okay, there's 11 lots south of the corner there at Roosevelt and Bott. Do they have to pay to hook up?
Yeah, this is only going to be the backbone, Ruth. At some point in time, any business that's interested in locating any of those lots will have to make a connection to the backbone. Now, whether or not, that's future stuff, but whether or not they will choose to do that, or whether we can form some sort of partnership to make that happen, yet to be determined. But yes, that connection will have to be made in order for them to hook to the backbone.
I know we're trying to stay in competitive with Hillsborough, but you guys are more of an optimist than I am, because Hillsborough's mill levy is only like 41 mills. Raines is 70-something. Okay, right there is a stumbling point.
And,
What was the last business that we put in up there at the industrial park?
I guess is
Express
gonna be
56, the Dollar General was the last.
Dollar General, the new building, Express 56 is the new business, and Expedition Wind is the next new business.
So basically, what I took from this exhibit, or the attachment B, was that we're actually doing this for the wind farm.
Well, not entirely, but certainly I will tell you that in the last 5 days, they've already picked up the phone and asked me, what will our broadband capabilities be in the industrial park? Because we had not talked about any of that in any of the previous conversations.
I visited with some of those businesses up there, and I haven't found one that's really interested in this.
And
One of them is on satellite, and they say they're fine with that. Another one said the price is too high, even at $99. And the other is satisfied with their service.
The only way I would answer that, Ruth, is that in my opinion, in order to keep our business park and our industrial park viable, with this backbone, we've at least got the opportunity to keep those two facilities viable. And certainly if we don't, it sort of goes back to the Verizon service issue. If we don't do this, then we certainly are not gonna be on anyone's list for even evaluation of a site up there.
Is there a chance that we could get Expedition Wind to share in this cost?
I've not gone down that path yet, but clearly, they are gonna have to pay for some sort of connection to the backbone. So, we'll have some of those conversations, but I've not entered into anything like that so far.
And then $16,000 of in-kind work, I figured it at $20 an hour. There's only 40 days between the time that this takes effect, from November the 1st to December the 31st, it has to be completed.
Right.
Okay, that's 800 hours. And that's gonna take 2.5 employees per day for those 40 days.
That also includes our trenching machine.
Are you gonna tell me that this cable company doesn't have their own trenching machine?
I'm not here to tell you that they don't, I'm certain that they do, but that's one of our options for doing in-kind contributions.
I know, but why would we use our machine and wear it out
To
over what they
to
use?
fulfill our in-kind, so that I'm not coming up with $32,000 out of my budget instead of 16.
I'd just like to read this statement that comes out of attachment B. It says, "This project is intended to leverage the latest business addition to the industrial park, Expedition Wind, with the availability of ultra-high-speed service, focusing on the supporting commercial needs of the Maintenance and Operations Center. With the availability of 14 industrial park lots, the additional development has the potential to create as many as 70 to 75 new jobs, 8 employees per location." You really are an optimist. I have to give you credit for that.
Well, and that's what you pay your administration to do. We're to look at the possibilities, not the probabilities. We are simply bringing the grant opportunity where the majority of this project will be paid by federal dollars that honestly came out of our community as tax dollars to begin with. It is the desire of council. We said we'd come back to you. If you do not wish to vote for it, that's your prerogative. But you pay us to look to the future and try to bring you every opportunity to leverage whatever's available. That's all that Mr. Collett has done. That's all that we're here this evening.
Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve Kansas Department of Commerce Produce Relief Fund grant. Is that the correct one?
Yes, it's just the acceptance, Mayor.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-1.
Thank you.
Department and staff reports. Randy, you have anything you want to bring further before the council?
No, nothing beyond what's in front of you already.
Okay, any questions, Randy? Margo?
Not unless you have a question.
None of me. Thank you. Clinton?
I just wanted to let you guys know that Aaron and our police dog Blue got recertified. Every year they have to be recertified. And he did that this last week, and he put in a lot of hard work to get that done. And
Where did they get certified at?
this year it was in Manhattan, and every other year it's in Manhattan, and then Iowa it's through the Heart of America Police Dog Association. So this was an independent group that certified them rather than who we purchased the dog from.
Does Highway Patrol do any recertification anymore?
I don't know if they do or not. I know their schooling is like 14 weeks or something to go through, but yeah, I'm not sure if they do or not.
Okay. Susan?
No, sir.
Tiffany?
I have nothing further.
Okay, Roger, any further?
I have a question. Have we got any trash people hired? Trash truck?
We got 2 on the back. Well, one's hired and working, one starts the 12th. We're still advertising, looking for a driver.
Who are they? Do you have the name?
Heidelberg and
Oh, yeah.
Jason
Beardsley
Pearson.
is the last name.
Is he from here?
He lives here currently, but I don't know where
Yeah,
he's,
okay, that's
where
fine.
he's from.
Well, good, you're making a head.
Okay. Any motion to adjourn?
I
Oh, wait,
No.
hang on 1 minute. Go ahead, I forgot.
Oh, you're too far.
I'd just like to recognize David Mueller. He's sitting back here. He's running for county council for the north half of City of Marion and North Marion County. Anyway, he's from Tampa. I introduce you if you don't know who he is. But that's what he's wanting to do. David, I appreciate you running for that office.
I just wanted to, I don't want to take up your time, I just wanted to let you know I'm here, I am a candidate for that position. You've got a lot of expertise in this room. One of the things I like to believe I can bring to the county commission is the ability to listen, and not just listen, but also hear what people are saying. I rely on other people's input. I think that's incredibly important, getting the facts, getting the information, listening to what constituents want, listening to the communities, the cities, and how we can work together. Partnerships and teamwork. Partnerships and teamwork. That's how we can move forward together. And to do that, we have to have common ground. The basic common ground we find is improving Marion County and the Marion County community. Anything we can do to work together to improve the Marion County community. So anyone want to visit with me afterwards, get in contact, I'd be happy to further discuss. But I just wanted to let you know I am a candidate for this district. And again, appreciate any input, any questions you might have. It was a pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you.
We're really lucky to have him running. He's been involved for years, but then not so much, you know, and now I'm so pleased to have him back involved. It's one of the best things that could happen for our county, so. I can't say enough good things about David.
I missed the public forum. If anyone wishes to address the house on public forum. Motion to adjourn.
I moved to adjourn the meeting.
You need a campaign manager.
Second.
I'll do it in a
All those in
heartbeat.
favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 4-0.